Tulis, the David Tulis program, where we cover local economy and the free market here in Chattanooga and beyond, thinking that in the local economy we have our future, and in some way we have our security. Not all of the security that we need, because we don't have enough in light of what's ahead, I suggest, in the coming meltdown, the coming cataclysm, the day of reckoning, the time when the can, as they say, can't be kicked any further down the road. Well, there will be grave disruptions in the national sector, in the debt sector, in the credit markets. And so we have to then resort to life on the other side, if you will, the other side of the precipice that the national economy will try to fly over, but which it will simply plunge over when that time comes. And it'll be reported in the paper. You'll see it. It won't be a surprise. Now, the solution that we have to this pending crisis of the good people and their stewardship of national economy and national government, our answer is you might say independence. You might say doing it ourselves, coming up with our own solutions, coming up with our own businesses, being owners rather than servants, being masters of our little enterprises rather than employees. You know, we don't need more employees in Chattanooga. We need to have more owners. Rather we have 100 men like you, my listener, starting with your wives, or maybe your eldest son, or maybe your daughter back from college, starting a little business in that spare bedroom, maybe the garage. Better 100 of folks like you than 100 people being employed by a German concern with AG at the end of the name, supplying padding or springs or widgets to Volkswagen. Better 100 owners of small enterprises that have a future than 100 people being hired to make widgets and parts for German cars. Danielle Landrum is one in this direction. She's the owner of a store that's just opened downtown. It's called Locals Only Chattanooga, and online it's localsonlychattanooga.com. Danielle lives in North Chat with her husband Eric, who's in the real estate business, and their son Atticus, who's 5 years old. Well, Danielle, you've been in business for about more than a year, and your shop has just been open for a month and a half. What's it all about? What will my listener find if he stops in there at Miller Plaza?
So our shop is just things that are made in Chattanooga, Chattanooga brands, Chattanooga makers, Chattanooga artists. So we sell their items in single fashion, where you can just come in and pick up one thing, or we sell gift boxes. And that's really how I got started. I was in my house making these gift boxes with just local items, and I just did some social media marketing, and it started to catch on. And so really I have the gift box business, where people can come in and they can pick out what they would like to send, or I have some boxes that are already made up, or they can come in and pick out a single item like hot sauce or honey or anything local.
Well, I'm holding here in my hand for our viewer on Facebook and YouTube a red box, and it has 4 things in it. One, what is my viewer seeing here? What does my listener need to imagine?
So we have a bath soak from Good Fortune Soap over on Broad Street. We've got some charcoal soap, and that's from Divine Purity, and she's over. She has a little shop on Ashland Terrace and a commercial kitchen where she makes these things. I've got some pottery from the Brick Kiln, and also some from Divine Purity, some sugar scrub. So this is like a ladies box, if you're gonna.
Well, that means that there's a gentleman box also, Danielle Landrum.
That's right.
What am I holding in my hand now?
So this is just a gift for men. So it's got Hoff Sauce, Smoke and Ghost hot sauce. It's got bacon jam from Main Street Meats. It's got a Chattanooga decal that can go on your car, and also from Good Fortune Soap. They've got a soap that they make that's for face, shave, and shampoo. So it's like everything all in one. So
these are somewhat luxury items. They're not necessities for the man. They're something on top of his many other blessings.
That's right.
In his domestic life, right?
That's right.
Well, tell my listener how it is you decided to go brick and mortar. What happened in the transition?
Well, we had started. It was actually, my husband, he needed gifts for his clients as a real estate agent, and so he had this idea to get just all local things to give, like local honey, local hot sauce, candles, and things to make up his gift. And I thought that was a great idea, and so I kind of took it over, and I I went and started, shopping for all these things. And so after like 20 trips on my lunch breaks, to get all these different items, I finally gathered it all up. And so he had some things that he could give for his closing gifts. And, I started doing this and it started catching on and people started asking for them. And so I thought, well, we'll just throw up a website and we'll see what happens. And so I did that and we did really well the first month and it just kept going. And then, we had all this inventory. I kept adding new products and we would do pop-up shops and people would ask, as many people that would ask for the boxes.
What's a pop-up shop?
It's like when like the River City Company at the Waterhouse Pavilion, sometimes they'll say like for Mother's Day, they'll invite different businesses that maybe don't have a brick and mortar to come and put up a table and bring out some items and sell them. And so basically a temporary gift shop, I guess is what you would call it. So we would do that and people would ask for the gift boxes, but they would also ask if they could buy just single items. And so we had all the inventory. We thought, well, what the heck? Let's just see if we can make it work. And so we did that. So first we thought that we wouldn't be able to afford a brick and mortar. And then we started discovering creative leasing and started checking around. And then we found out, well, maybe we can afford something. And so we talked to a few different landlords and we came up with a creative lease and that got us in the door. So luckily we've been able to do it without, an outside investor. So it's just, it's just us.
Just on savings and cash flow.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask about cash flow. Now, in a small business like that, cash flow, you always have to watch cash flow. And at the beginning of a business, generally you understand that you accept the idea that you have to put outside money, I say investor capital into the business. How long will that period go before cash flow covers all your expenses, including the rent, the light bill, the internet, and maybe pay for you? How long will that be before it's self-sustaining?
Well, it's self-sustaining now, really. We've let this business build up itself. So as we've made money, we've put it back in. So right now we're in the black and we've just, we've opened up the storefront. So we're happy.
Well, how are you marketing your shop, Locals Only Chattanooga? How are you getting the word out?
Mostly social media. I haven't paid for any outside marketing. So basically that's boosting a few posts on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram has been huge for me. It's amazing the amount of business that I've gotten just from that. And that's, it's free to use as long as you kind of figure out your way around it and how to tag things. That's been crucial for me. But so far I haven't ventured into any other marketing.
Well, the shop seems like probably one of your major expenses. How long will that go? I mean, how do you know that it's worth having the shop over just doing things online through digital marketing? How do you evaluate the cost of a shop?
Well, I mean, just with sales. So, we've been open a little over a month and so far the sales have really increased. And so, we're letting the dollars tell us.
Well, why local? Why how is that important to your business? Why is that a good idea?
Well, when you're supporting local, you're supporting individual families in our community. Sometimes you're helping a wife to be able to stay home with her kids. You're helping somebody quit the corporate job that they hate. You're really impacting your neighbors. You're helping somebody's dream to come true. So it's really a big deal for the local people. In our shop, we have little signs that say like "Meet the Makers." We have their picture up and a short bio about them. And people come in and they recognize their neighbors. They're like, "Oh, I know that person from the grocery store. I know, my kid goes to school with their kid." And so that's really something.
Well, who are some of the makers in your shop?
So we carry Hoff Sauce. So that's Aaron Hoffman. We have Eric Neal from Bacon Jam. That's Main Street Meats. We have lots of different people.
And well, who's Ann Hoffman? Say something about it.
Oh, Aaron Hoffman. Aaron. So Aaron, he started with this Hoff Sauce. He lives on the South Side and it's really taken off. Like now he's in the Fuego box. He's got national press. You can get him in subscription services. He's winning national awards. So, we really have some superstars here.
That's this bottle I'm holding here in my hand. It looks like a liquor bottle with a kind of bent. You can put it in your pocket as it were. And this is called it's Hoff Smoke and Ghost, your everyday hot sauce. And it says at the bottom, Chat, Tennessee, 6.7 fluid ounces.
Yeah. Good stuff. And so we also have Good Fortune soap, and that's Jennifer over there, and she she also started this as a hobby, and now she's got a big following, a very successful boutique, and she's got lots of people that work there, and they've got a kitchen in the back where they're making all these things, and a lot of these local people are using natural ingredients, and so if you're concerned about toxins or things that are bad for your body, locally is the way to go.
Might you be referring to this exfoliating eucalyptus activated charcoal soap from Divine Purity, for example? What's that about?
Yeah, so she handcrafts the soap. She's got a shop over on Ashland Terrace, and she also started out in her house and recently ventured into having her own storefront. So I think that her husband recently left his job to come full time and work with her. She's got I saw her yesterday at a pop-up shop, and she had her son there, counting the money and taking it in. So I mean, you're really helping a family to,
and
to survive.
And having a small business that is run by the family, that really involves children in the larger world, because schooling really denies outside experience to children. Schooling is very bubble creating.
That's right.
Well, what other names that my listener might know can you mention, Danielle Landrum? This is David Tulis. We're talking with Danielle Landrum. She runs localsonlychattanooga.com, and now it's a shop. You'll find the shop when you go to Miller Plaza, and you look at the stage there in the front. She's on the left.
That's right. Another cool thing that we have these Chattanooga. I don't know if you can see it. We have these Chattanooga pint glasses that in T-shirts and other apparel, and they're designed by Inklope Press and printed by them. And they've got a shop over in Red Bank where they're doing all this for us. And so you can get lots of Chattanooga souvenirs and cool gifts for people. Because I know that one thing about Chattanooga is we're all very proud of it. We're proud of our city, even though it's got some imperfections. There's so much to love about our place. So I think everyone likes having some Chattanooga gear.
Now, one of the larger, you have 3 boxes here in our studio, Danielle. And in the larger one, you've got a book by Alexi Ruth Engisath. I hope that's pronounced correctly. 100 Things to Do in Chattanooga Before You Die.
Yeah.
What's that about?
So she has written this book. This is, a book that you can find in lots of different cities, but it's a local author that was chosen to write the book here. And Alexi is great. She's written this book. She says that if you've been here, you lived here all of your life, or if you're a newcomer, that there's stuff for everybody to do in there that you can thumb through and find some awesome things to do in Chattanooga. And people love getting that book.
She's kept busy raising 2 kids and 2 dogs in her adopted hometown of Chattanooga. And she's also, check her out at alexiruth.com or connect with her on Instagram. So this book is kind of a one story per page with a big picture. So it's a kind of a short, quick read, and that's in this larger box. Now, what is this larger box for? Whom are the intended buyers of this series of goods in that one?
Well, so this one has like local chocolate, local honey, local coffee, local bacon jam, local spices, local toffee. So this is a gift for, as well as Alexi's a book about 100 things to do in Chattanooga before you die. So this is a gift that you can give to somebody moving to Chattanooga. It's a gift that you can give to someone that's lived here all their life. I think that everyone would enjoy getting a gift like this. So I've just it's a gift for everyone.
What about farmers markets? Do you go there?
I don't go there. A lot of that, they want people that are actually making the items, and I'm not making the items. Those are the makers. So I'm selling their items too.
So the makers sometimes are at the various farmers markets.
Yes.
But not you. Well, what about the economic environment in general, Danielle Landrum? There seems to be a lot of gloom in business. I do I meet a lot of business people every afternoon. I'm involved in sales for our company, and I find everywhere help wanted signs. I find in many places the owner is not there. There seem to be many employees who just don't know anything about the business. They don't know where the owner is. They can't tell me how to reach him. There seems to be just kind of a despair in business. There doesn't seem to be a lot of money. There doesn't seem to be a lot of cash in the retail economy. As I sense it, what about your business? You entered a storefront full of optimism and hope. What caused that to happen, and what dangers do you see ahead?
Well, we decided to do this just because we thought that there was a need, and we thought that what we were doing was different than what you normally see in a retail setting. A lot of people carry these products, but we haven't really seen it all in one place before. And so we thought that that was a cool thing that, and there's a big drive now to shop local. We thought that people would enjoy it. We thought that tourists would like it as well. So, there were a lot of different factors, corporations, there's a lot of businesses over where we are. So we thought that they could come on their lunch breaks to pick out corporate gifts. And so far, this has all been true. We don't have a lot of experience under our belts, but so far it seems to be working out the way that we thought. My fear for the future is, of course, a recession. I think that would be devastating for us, and we'd have to figure out how to make it work. But my husband's in real estate, and I've kind of looked at what happened in their industry when the housing market crashed. And the realtors that survived figured it out. They figured out how to sell foreclosures or short sales or market themselves in a different way. And so that's how I think I'm going to have to do this if and when a recession happens.
If we have another recession, which means a shortage of liquidity in the economy, a contraction of the monetary base, that will affect demand for, I would say, which are somewhat luxury, they're kind of goods on the margin. They're not essentials for the listener or his business, but they're things that you buy them if you can, or if it would be good for you, but they're not essentials. So that's why you're fearful, because you're a barometer in kind of low level luxury goods, low level pleasure purchases that would sense a loss of liquidity in the economy. And well, what would you do then if things are? How would you market yourself differently if there were a recession in your line?
I've always been kind of a scrapper, so I'll fight for what I can. I think that maybe the answer is going to be the corporate gifting. If that happens, I think that I'm going to have to really, make my money at Christmas time and save it up, like a squirrel throughout the year. If there was a really terrible recession, I might have to go back to working out of my house again.
Well, you said earlier that, and I wanted to ask you about it, that on your lunch break, you went and did things for your husband who was needing gifts, that the line of which became your business. What were you doing then? Were you working outside the home in an employment of some kind before you started this home-based business?
Yeah, initially I was an employee at Unum, and then during this I didn't always do just the gifting. So up until the shop opened a month ago, I was working full time and just doing this, in my spare time and in the evenings.
So you gave up the employment at Unum, which was full time.
Right, and then after that, I was a real estate transaction coordinator. So I would do like realtors paperwork and talk to the mortgage company and the title companies. And
was that helping your husband Eric?
It was not, although knowing him helped me find out about the job. But
so now you're doing this full time from the home, doing fulfillment from your home, and then having the store. Is some of the work done at home going to the store or the back room of your store?
Well, actually, everything went to the store, which was really nice because our entire house had been taken over by locals only gifts. So we had cases of hot sauce, cases of honey all around, everywhere. Shred that goes in the gift packaging. It was
ubiquitous.
Yeah, it was all over the house. So it was really nice to get it all out of our house. And so everything takes place out of the shop now.
Well, let me ask you about the idea of local economy. In my mind, it's a very weak argument. It's an argument because it's not about strength. It's about grace, really. It's not compelling in one sense, but it is in another sense. It appeals, I think, in a way to emotion. It appeals to my listener's sense of identification with place. He's here, I would say by God's providence, he's here. It's not a mistake that he's here. And so the goal for me is to help him identify with his place and the people in that place, and not to be sort of uprooted and deracinated and sort of aloof from the location in which he and all these other people here in Chattanooga live. Now, what do you make of this idea of localism or local-centric thinking? Is it something is that a genuine, serious thing, or is it just sort of an emotionalism and sentimentalism?
Well, I think that it's probably a bit of both. One thing with these items is that they're made really well. I think that you're going to get a better product than some of the products that you're getting at the big box stores. I carry Nooga Leatherworks makes these handmade leather wallets, purses, things like that, journal covers. And his stuff is made so well that he could, you could pass it on to your kids when you're done with it. So you might spend $45 for a leather wallet, and you technically could go to Walmart and get one for $5 or $6, but you can have that wallet for the rest of your life, and your Walmart wallet is going to fall apart. So there's a quality issue, I think. So it's not all just emotion. If you want something that's substantial, it's going to last. It's kind of like saving up your money. You can spend it over and over.
And better buy a wallet made in Chattanooga than some ranch hand in Arizona.
Right.
Well, we've been talking with Danielle Landrum from Locals Only Chattanooga. And online, you can find it at localsonlychattanooga.com. She runs a great little store off Miller Plaza. You're looking at the stage, okay, just there on the left. When you get down the left, Miller Plaza. Danielle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This is David Tulis. We've been chatting about local economy and the free market. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of sentimentalism and emotion, perhaps, but there's something genuinely authentic and real, whimsical, wonderfully weak, I would say. Something worth thinking about. David Tulis, Nooga Radio, brought to you by Nooganomics.com.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. The